If you guys can remember, the other day I made a video where I showed what can be done to force the user to upgrade the app. And it worked because what I did was anytime they tried to do any kind of backend call, I would simply, from the backend where I had control over this, could return an error code. And based on the specific error code, if anything comes back in any API call comes back from the backend with an error code, I can simply shut down the app. So that worked, but it was a horrible user experience. It's also against the iOS user interface guidelines, which specifically say that you should not be able to abruptly shut down an app. It's just because it looks like it crashed. The user doesn't know what's going on, and it actually makes sense. I think the requirement makes sense. It makes sense to respect it, and I just want to show you guys what I came up with because I think this respects it and it works really well. So I did the following. So let's say this is the app, and then you can move around in the app as you know, as in any app, from screen to screen. Anytime you move around, it's a backend call, right? Because it's a database intensive app. And so I have an opportunity on the server when I upgrade the app to say, okay, this app is coming in with an old version. I'm going to shut it down. So that much worked, and I showed you guys that API Manager is this is where all the calls are channeled through. I can check for a 500 error, and I could shut down the app. The last step was the issue. Shutting down the app probably with something like exit one or pop, I think, what is it called, navigator pop or something like that. There are a couple of ways of shutting it down, where it's a horrible thing, and that's what's causing the UI, the really bad UI experience. But the problem was that so deep in the app, in API Manager, I don't have access to the router. So I came up with the following. There is something called stream controller, where it's like a page bus that's available in Flutterflow, and you can just use that. And all you have to do for that is use I think it's Dart. I think it's Dart Sync that's doing it. I needed to import files for this. It's Dart Sync, and the other one was Flutterflow util. I don't remember exactly which pieces needed which one, but I needed these two to make these two things work. And these two calls down here work. So when I get a 500 call, I check if the error message is what I care about, the unsupported app version, and I sign the user out from Firestore, but that doesn't take them out of the they still stay in the app, and they get all kinds of, they click around, they get all kinds of red screens, which is horrible. So what you do is you redirect, you say you add a message to the stream, and the way I set it up is you can pass in the page, although in this case I only use it for one page, and I created a page called unsupported app version. And in main, I'm referencing that stream, right? For me to be able to do that, I just had to include API Manager here, so it's somewhere here. Let's see, I can't see, but yeah, API Manager, so it's here. So I just had to include that, and once I included that, I could just use the redirect stream, and when I get a message, I could just use payload because the page is passed in, but I just hard coded it here. This is the only thing I'm doing with this, and I just say router go name unsupported app version page. This solves the problem of not having a context so deep down in the app, because that was my issue. I didn't know how to get to the context. I didn't know how to do this redirect. You could also try to have statics and point back and forth, but to point with a static to a front page from deep in the API, that just seems really kludgy to me. Using a stream like this, a page bus, is very clean. So I decided to do it this way. And so let's see what the user experience is. So they can click around. And now give me a minute. I'm going to set in the backend. I'm going to upgrade the app, and I'm going to say that I'm going to require a newer version of the app and see what happens. So just stick with me for a second. Alright, so I made a change on the backend. Now I'm requiring a much newer version than what the version of this app is, and let's see what happens if I click around. Boom. And I think this is a perfect user experience. Now the only way I could improve this, I didn't have time for that today, but I could put a button at the bottom, which, or if they click it, they will take it to the app, directly to the App Store. So this is I think a really nice user experience, certainly compared to just shutting the app down. Thanks for listening. Good luck. Bye bye.